Hello everyone and welcome to Fixing Disney Star Wars. This is the latest episode in our commentary series for the closure cut of the Rise of Skywalker, and we're glad you're here with us today. Thanks for joining us as we attempt to build a better episode 9. Please don't forget to subscribe and like our videos so that we place higher in the YouTube algorithm. Also, feel free to let us know what you like or did not like about episode 9 in the comments below. If you like our work, please consider joining our Subscribe Star. Subscribe Star is a membership platform similar to Patreon, but respects creators' freedom of speech and expression. Right now, people all around the world are being increasingly censored, and it's important to us, as a team, that we support platforms that support basic human freedoms, like the freedom of speech. On our Subscribe Star, you'll find all kinds of content, like new videos, new commentary, VFX tests, audio tests, and more. And all the funds raised via Subscribe Star go directly to our edits. We keep nothing for ourselves. If this interests you, the link is in the description if you'd like to help us. And now, with the intro out of the way, let's get to the commentary. We begin this week during the moment in the film in which Rey has just been rescued by Finn and Poe after her confrontation with Ren on his Star Destroyer. And Rey's just learned that she is the reason her parents are dead. In the aftermath, General Hux reports to Allegiant General Pride and informs him that Rey and company have escaped from the Star Destroyer. It's during this portion of the film in the original cut that Pride shoots and kills Hux, determining him to be the spy within the First Order. In our version of the film, however, Pride does not kill Hux here. Simply put, Hux has a different fate in our edit, and it will require the shooting of a new scene to make happen. However, we're confident that this will ultimately be a better and more fitting end for Hux than the fate given to him in the original cut of the film. Soon after, we cut to a sequence where Poe and Chewie are discussing how the Falcon's landing gear is broken. In the original cut of the film, after Poe asks Chewie about this issue, it cuts to a sequence of Rey and Finn fixing something on the Falcon when Rey says, "All that matters is finding the Wayfinder, finding Exegol." And Finn responds with, "Well, that's what we're doing." There's then a quick close-up shot of Rey where Ren says, "He killed my father and he killed my mother. I'm going to find Palpatine and destroy him." Finn walks into the scene and says, "Rey, that doesn't sound like you. Rey, I know you." Rey cuts Finn off and says, "People keep telling me that they know me. I'm afraid no one does." All of this has been removed. One of the biggest criticisms lobbed against Episode 9 is that it doesn't take any time to breathe, to allow characters to consider what they're going through, or to think on their circumstances, to consider the ramifications of their actions. And this is a fair critique, as the film is quite frantic, both in its pacing and in its editing. We have to think about what Rey is going through after learning what she did to her parents. No normal person would just be getting on with things after hearing that they had inadvertently killed their parents as a child. They'd be in shock. They'd be in mourning. And so, in this first sequence with Rey after she learns this terrible truth, we see her standing shocked and silent in the Falcon as Finn watches on, being there to provide moral support to his friend should she need it. It's a quick but quiet moment that allows the audience to realize that Rey isn't some superpowered being who can do anything. Instead, she's a Padawan learner with no real master, no real family, and she's just learned the most horrible truth she could possibly learn. She's showing a quiet moment of vulnerability, which is something that the original sequel trilogy films didn't care much for showing. It's an important but quiet moment. And right after this portion of the film, Palpatine reaches out to Ren through the Force. In the original cut of the film, Palpatine says, "The Jedi apprentice still lives. Perhaps you have betrayed me. Do not make me turn my fleet against you." We've changed this line to, "Perhaps I was mistaken about you, young Solo. Your grandfather, Lord Vader, would have already found the Padawan and torn her limb from limb. Your failure is nearly complete." This line is more true to Palpatine's character as we know it based on the original and prequel trilogies. And as the conversation progresses, Ren replies to Palpatine with, "I know where she's going. She'll never be a Jedi." The "I know where she's going" line has been removed to let Palpatine's threat toward Ren sink in a bit, and to give the idea that Ren is slightly cautious in how he deals with Palpatine. It also helps the scene flow a bit better in general. Palpatine finishes the conversation with "make sure of it and kill her." But we've removed these lines as well because Palpatine doesn't actually want her dead, so why would he ask Ren to kill her? This is another example of a sequence of conflicting intentions for Palpatine, and it makes him look a bit like a buffoon. So we've removed these lines, and finally, we remove the small shot right after this conversation of Ren walking away. Switching sequences, we see the Falcon enter the atmosphere on Endor, and After the crash, we see the crew walking away from this crash where they come over to a crest and they see the remains of the Death Star. D.O. then asks, "What is that?" And Rey responds with, "It's the Death Star. It's a bad place from an old war." Now, obviously, 99% of the people watching this film know exactly what that is, so there's not really a need for exposition here. There's also the concern that Rey may not actually know what the Death Star was or it looked like. There didn't seem to be a lot of tech on Jakku, and Rey would have been too poor to own any sort of TV or the like. Perhaps it once made an appearance in Jakku's sky, but we don't really know. Rey's description of the Death Star here is also vastly understating the role it played in the galaxy as it is now. Either way though, this scene works better without Rey's commentary. After this sequence, Poe says, "It's gonna take us years to find what we're looking for." 3PO says, "Oh dear," and then Rey says, "Only this blade tells." She then pulls the Sith dagger out of her purse. And then Captain Rey, pulls a component out of the blade, lights the component up with the wreckage of the Death Star, and then says, "The Wayfinder is there." Literally all of this dialogue has been removed, because none of it needs to be here. In our version of the sequence, the crew walk up, see the Death Star wreckage, and after a few moments, Rey says, "I can feel it. I can feel it calling to me," alluding to the Emperor's holocron. It's a quieter, more effective moment without the need for a Goonies-style plot device. And quick nitpick here, but this is Star Wars. The series leads the way for others to follow in general terms. It doesn't copy others. People rip off Star Wars, not the other way around. So maybe Abrams and Terrio are just really big Goonie fans? Who knows? As the sequence is playing out, the group is surprised by a squad of strangers on space horses. Jannah, the leader, says, "Rough landing," to which Poe responds with, "I've seen worse." Jannah responds with, "I've seen better," and then she asks, "Are you Resistance?" and tells the group that she received a transmission from Babu Frick. In short though, Jannah is already expecting our heroes, so this awkward interaction between Jannah and Poe isn't really needed. In our edit, Jannah rides up and simply asks, "Are you Resistance?" and then tells the group about Babu's message. It makes for a cleaner interaction between the two, and the dialogue is more in line with the previous George Lucas era films. Poe's "that depends" response to Jannah's question also makes Poe seem less like a jerk and more like someone simply looking out to protect himself and his group, simply being cautious with these new strangers. As the conversation between the two groups continues, after 3PO's line about Babu being one of his oldest friends, Jannah says, "He said you'd come. He said that you were the last hope." And then the camera pans to Rey. Okay, so here again we see Disney using the word hope. And if you've seen our other videos in the commentary series, we've broken down how Disney loves this term and they use it in as many sequences as possible. And in other videos, we've also broken down how Disney has really pushed this whole notion of Rey being like a new chosen one and how only she can save the galaxy and how it's all about her and she's the last hope. And we see it even in shots like this where Rey is prominently featured while speaking about the last hope. Rey then tells Jannah, "We have to get to that wreck. There's something inside there that we need," and Jannah responds with, "I can take you by water." Finn responds with more of his signature forced comedy saying, "Have you seen the water?" Jannah says, "Not now. Too dangerous. We can go first light in the morning." And Rey then throws a bit of a temper tantrum and says, "We can't wait that long. We don't have the time." Okay, so there's a number of changes we've made here. Firstly, we've removed Jannah's lines about going by water, Finn's line about seeing the water, and Jannah's lines about not going now because it's too dangerous. We've also removed Rey's "we can't wait that long" line. In our edit, the scene flows like this. Rey says, "We have to get to that wreck. There's something inside there that we need." And Jannah says, "Well, we can go first light tomorrow morning." And Rey says, "We don't have the time." And Poe says, "Or the choice," while looking at the raging sea behind Rey. The scene also flows a bit smoother as a result of this change in dialogue. Well, that's going to do it for this episode in our Closure Cut commentary series. What do you like most about the Rise of Skywalker? What do you think could have used some work, and what do you think could have been expanded upon? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a like or a comment as well. We try to respond to everyone we can, so please feel free to join the conversation below, or drop us a line at fixingdisneystarwars@yahoo.com. Until next time, may the Force be with you.